Thom Bell, Philadelphia's soul icon, dies at 79. The songwriter was best known for working with the Stylistics, the Spinners, the Delfonics, and more. Thom Bell, the iconic pioneer of Philadelphia's soul in the 1970s, died on Thursday in Bellingham, Washington. He was 79. The news was first reported by Philly R&B radio station 105.3 WDAS-FM with host Patty Jackson saying, "We remember Thom Bell, record producer, arranger, and songwriter known for his work with Linda Creed, Gamble and Huff, the many hits, the creators of Philly soul." The station also paid special tribute to the late musician on its website by sharing a video of the Stylistics' 1972 Bell-produced single, "People Make the World Go Round." Bell's attorney confirmed his passing to Billboard, saying, "Thom Bell left an indelible and everlasting mark on the history of popular music, but even more so, he will be remembered by all who knew him as a kind and loving friend and family man. The music world has truly lost one of the greats." Nile Rodgers also took to social media to pay his respect to Bell, tweeting, #RIP Thom Bell. He's one of the greatest writers and producers of all time. My condolences go out to his family and friends. He was the architect of the relationship between Bernard Edwards and me as we were the band for the group New York City. I'm doing fine now. A Thom Bell smash. Bell, who was born in 1943 and studied classical music when he was a child, was known for working with early R&B acts like the Delfonics, the Spinners, and Denise Williams. With Linda Creed, he co-wrote a number of soul classics like Betcha by Golly, Wow, You Are Everything, You Make Me Feel Brand New, and Stop, Look, Listen to Your Heart. In the late 70s and early 80s, he also co-wrote and produced tracks for young Elton John, including Are You Ready for Love and Mama Can't Buy You Love. In 1975, Bell became the inaugural Grammy winner for Producer of the Year, non-classical. He had previously been nominated for co-writing the Delfonics' Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time and arranging the Stylistics' Betcha by Golly, Wow. In 2017, the Recording Academy presented him with the Trustees Award, the equivalent of a Lifetime Achievement Award for non-performers. He was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2006, as well as the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum a decade later. Bell is survived by his wife Vanessa and his children Royal, Troy, Tia, Mark, Cybelle, and Christopher. A Hall of Fame hitmaker finds happiness and harmony in Bellingham. An enthusiastic chef, Thom Bell has collected some 1,500 cookbooks. Their numbers grow like a souffle in the Mediterranean-style home he and his wife Vanessa built in Bellingham in 2000. They rarely eat out, preferring his mainly Asiatic cuisine. What you won't find around their well-appointed home is any trace of his former life. You won't see walls covered with the 30-plus gold records or 10 platinum records he received for the soul music hits he wrote or produced in Philadelphia from the 1960s to the 80s. You won't see photos of him with the groups he made into stars, the Delfonics, the Stylistics, the Spinners, or the artists he worked with, Johnny Mathis, Dionne Warwick, Elton John, and James Ingram, among many others. He gave all the memorabilia to his kids and grandkids. That's another life, the 75-year-old Bell says. Good memories, but I'm finished with it now. Bell was playing piano in Chubby Checker's band in the 1960s when he stopped in Bellingham on his way to Vancouver, British Columbia for a show. He was impressed with the beauty of the scenery, the chill of the air, and the warmth of the people. I couldn't believe how nice the people were, he says. He kept Bellingham on the back of his mind. While still working in Philadelphia, Bell moved with his former wife Sylvia to Tacoma in 1976 because she had health problems they believed were exacerbated by the tension of living in a big city. They divorced in 1984 and he remarried a year later. He and Vanessa, who were born in Hawaii, lived in the Seattle area and Maui before moving to Bellingham in 1998. It took them 2 years to build their home on a heavily wooded 3-acre parcel overlooking Bellingham Bay. You need a strong house here, he says. The wind can be 70 to 80 miles per hour. The first year we were here, a tree fell. It was about 40 or 50 feet tall. It missed my house by 6 feet and crushed my Jeep Cherokee. He says this with the chuckle of a man fortunate enough to have had a talent that made listeners' spirits soar and allowed him to build a home with a spectacular view. As a teenager in 1958, Bell was making fish cakes in his father's West Philadelphia fish market when he listened, transfixed, to the Tears in My Pillow, the first hit by Little Anthony and the Imperials. I fell in love with the whole production, he says. I listened to the background, the bass, a lot more than just the lyrics. In the late 1960s and 70s, it would be Bell's music that delighted a generation of baby boomers. They sang along with the sweet melodies and tight harmonies he created as a writer, arranger, and producer during the heyday of Philadelphia soul music, including the Delfonics, Lala Means I Love You, and Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time, and the Stylistics, Stop, Look, Listen to Your Heart, You Are Everything, Betcha by Golly, Wow, and People Make the World Go Round. In 1972, Bell took over a group that had been sorely neglected at Berry Gordy's Motown Records. The singers had to work as chauffeurs for the Temptations and other groups. Under Bell's direction, the Spinners became top 40 regulars with such songs as I'll Be Around, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love, One of a Kind, Love Affair, They Just Can't Stop It, The Games People Play, and The Rubber Band Man. Bell helped rekindle Warwick's flagging career in 1974 by teaming her with the Spinners on Then Came You. Joe Tarsia, the studio engineer on many of the hits Bell produced, said he was the Black Burt Bacharach. From the time Bell received a small drum kit for Christmas when he was 5, he knew he wanted a career in music. At his mother's insistence, he started piano lessons around the same time. As he got older, he played the classics but also was composing times in his head. His father, an accountant and businessman, played Hawaiian guitar and accordion. His mother was a pianist and organist who instilled in Bell and his 9 siblings a love of music. He performed in recitals and sometimes accompanied his sister Barbara's ballet performances. But he says he got bored playing other people's music, even Chopin's. I'm a poor imitator, he says. I wanted to create my own music. Bell and his teenage buddy, Kenny Gamble, tried unsuccessfully to make it as a singing duo, Kenny and Tommy, but Bell knew his future was at the keyboard. He dropped out of Dobbins High School in North Philly to do club gigs with various bands. It was Checkers' road manager who urged him to change his name from Tom to Thom to make it more distinctive. Bell played in the house band at the Apollo in Harlem and at Philadelphia's Uptown Theater, backing up Sam Cooke and others. Producer Luther Dixon heard him at the Uptown and invited him to New York, where he played on Chuck Jackson's hit Any Day Now and with the Shirelles. Sylvia, his wife at the time, wasn't happy with the unpredictable life of a studio musician. At 22, Bell promised her he'd find another profession if he didn't make it by the age of 25. He landed a tedious job transcribing songs at Cameo Parkway Records before getting his big break with the Delfonics. Time was running out on his deal with Sylvia when he co-wrote with the group's lead singer, William Hart, and produced the #1 record, Lala Means I Love You. In time, he became a major creative force in the burgeoning music empire that Gamble headed with Leon Huff. Bell never partnered with them at their record company, Philadelphia International, preferring to pick his spots with singers, musicians, and other record companies. Unlike Gamble and Huff, who wrote and produced dozens of soul hits, Bell could read music. While Gamble and Huff brought songs and chord progressions into studio sessions and worked things out with musicians on the fly, Bell wrote every note to every part. He insisted they be performed exactly as written. In some sessions, he played piano or one of the other 17 instruments he had mastered.